Abraham. A day came when God reached out to Abraham and informed him of his intention to destroy the city of Sodom and Gomorrah. However, he didn't do anything just yet because he felt taking that action would be wrong if he didn't inform Abraham first. For that was the man he had come to accept as a friend. But Lot, who was Abraham's nephew, lived in Sodom then. So Abraham had a strong desire to talk God out of destroying the city for the sake of his nephew and his family. The Lord said, "Shall I keep secret from Abraham, my friend and servant, what I am going to do, since Abraham is destined to become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth will be blessed through him? For I have known, chosen, acknowledged him as my own, and that he may teach and command his children and the sons of his household after him to keep the way of the Lord, by doing what is righteous and just, so that the Lord may bring upon Abraham what he has promised him." And the Lord said, "The outcry of the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah is indeed great, and their sin is exceedingly grave. I will go down now, and see whether they have acted as vilely and wickedly as the outcry which has come to me indicates. And if not, I will know." Now the two men, angelic beings, turned away from there and went towards Sodom, but Abraham remained standing before the Lord. Abraham approached the Lord and said, "Will you really sweep away the righteous, those who do right, with the wicked, those who do evil? Suppose there are 50 righteous people within the city. Will you really sweep it away and not spare it for the sake of the 50 righteous who are in it? Far be it from you to do such a thing, to strike the righteous with the wicked, so that the righteous and the wicked are treated alike. Far be it from you. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right by executing just and righteous judgment?" So the Lord said, "If I find within the city of Sodom 50 righteous people, then I will spare the entire place for their sake." Abraham answered, "Now behold, I who am but dust in origin and ashes have decided to speak to the Lord. If 5 of the 50 righteous are lacking, will you destroy the entire city for lack of 5? And he said, if I find at least 45 righteous people there, I will not destroy it." Abraham spoke to him yet again and said, "Suppose only 40 are found there." And he said, "I will not do it for the sake of the 40 who are righteous." Then Abraham said to him, "Oh, may the Lord not be angry, and I will speak. Suppose 30 righteous people are found there." And he said, "I will not do it if I find 30 there." And he said, "Now behold, I have decided to speak to the Lord again. Suppose only 20 righteous people are found there." And the Lord said, "I will not destroy it for the sake of the 20. Then Abraham said, "Oh, may the Lord not be angry with me, and I will speak only this once. Suppose 10 righteous people are found there." And he said, "I will not destroy it for the sake of the 10. As soon as he had finished speaking with Abraham, the Lord departed, and Abraham returned to his own place. Genesis 18:17-33. We read, "Would you also destroy the righteous with the wicked?" In discussing this question in a sense, Abraham reminded the Lord of his own nature and principles. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? Abraham thought that God, as a righteous judge, could not and would not punish the innocent in the same way as the guilty. Effective prayer is knowing who God is and how God works in a particular situation. Effective prayer doesn't see itself as a passive spectator in what God does, but effective prayer acts as if it must actually remind God in prayer. We might find it remarkable Abraham even cared about the people of Sodom and Gomorrah. He might have just prayed, "Lord, get my nephew Lot out of there first." But he didn't. Abraham's heart was full of sorrow and compassion, even for the wicked of Sodom and Gomorrah. We read, If I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all the place for their sakes." God said this because Abraham asked. When Abraham drew near to the Lord and prayed according to God's revealed nature and will, God agreed. The Lord said that he would spare the city if there were 50 righteous there. In his first exchange with God, Abraham established a principle that God would not destroy the righteous with the wicked. With that principle established, it was then just a matter of numbers. How many righteous people would God spare the city for? Abraham's intercession was effective because it was specific. He talked about specific numbers with God, and not only in broad general terms. Often our prayers are ineffective because we really don't ask the Lord to do anything. Instead, we usually just toss wishes up to heaven. Abraham continued his intercession with bold humility. He was not proud or arrogant before the Lord, yet he still continued to ask. Abraham's humility was demonstrated in that nowhere in his prayer did he ask why, or did he demand that God explain himself and his actions. Abraham was a skilled negotiator, and he prevailed upon God to lower the number of righteous required to spare the city. First by units of 5, then by units of 10, until the number settled at 10. It is impossible to miss the persistence of Abraham in intercession. Abraham did not stop asking at 40 or 50 and said simply, "Now it's in the Lord's hands," or "The Lord will do what the Lord will do." Abraham showed us that there are times when an intercessor must feel that the eternal destiny of men and women depend on the intercessor's prayer. We wonder if Abraham should not have continued the negotiations, because there were only 4 righteous in the city. Would God have spared the city for 4 if Abraham had asked? Perhaps Abraham felt Lot would surely have brought 6 people beyond his own family to God in his time in Sodom. God patiently listened to him. But since his last request of finding at least 10 people and cancelling his plans to destroy these evil cities fell through, angels were dispatched to blot it out. Thankfully, their first task was to rescue Lot's family before destroying the city. Judging by this solution from God, it is obvious that Abraham's negotiations with God came from a place of deep companionship and assurance.